Over the years, there's been some pretty brutal crashes in cycling, and I'm talking pretty bad in the scheme of things. And today, I'm going to be breaking them down and taking a bit of a deeper look into it. What was it that caused them? Why did it happen? Was it the rider's fault? Was it sort of external things? Firstly, we have Richie Porte in the Tour de France, where he fractured his pelvis and actually broke his collarbone. This is an absolutely brutal crash. It's a lose-lose scenario. If he goes off the left, he literally goes down a cliff. If he goes straight forward, which he did, he goes into a brick wall. He just slides out. He can't control himself, and then he ends up crashing. Luckily, the medics were there to help him really, really quickly. But World Tour racing on a bike is so dangerous, because it's not like you're riding on a closed normal road that's straight, and if you just fall off, you're sliding down it. You've literally got cliffs in the mountain stages that if you fall off, you're literally going to die. So the odds and the risk is very, 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 very high in the scheme of things, and it's something where you do not want to make even the smallest mistakes, and it can be fatal, although that's often not the case. Next up, we have Felipe Gilbert. This is probably one of the most visually worst crashes ever that you could see in the Tour de France. The irony of this is that he actually got through this unscathed and was absolutely fine. He got back up afterwards. I think he had a minor concussion in the end, and actually finished the Tour de France stage. Like, what the actual hell? It looks so much worse than it actually is. But again, it shows the danger of these mountain stages, where if you get one little thing wrong and go through a turn too fast, it's literally game over and you're off the side of a cliff. It just shows the reality of how dangerous this stuff can actually be. This next one is a time trial race. So a time trial bike just maneuvers and handles a lot differently to a road bike. It's got that different front end. You're sort of more lent forward, which makes that, I guess, maneuverability and twitchiness of it far worse. And as you can see, it was rainy. He lost balance and completely slid off onto the road. Luckily, again, he was absolutely fine, and the sort of the wetness, I think, just helped him slide through. This next one as well, what the hell is going on here? I mean, on what planet is cycling through that a good idea? He's literally going through a swimming pool. Again, he was unscathed. Well, I sort of would expect so, because he's landing in a meter's worth of water. But why is this race even on in the first place? That is definitely not the rider's fault. That is 100,000,000% the race organiser's fault for going ahead with this. But again, it was a national TT championships. What do you do in this situation? It's a hard one. Now, this is probably the most notorious crash ever in the Tour de France history, with it having something like 7 million plus views on YouTube. So basically, there's a woman holding a sign, the riders go into the sign, and she takes down the entire pro peloton. I'm not even joking, the entire peloton come down. Now, with this type of racing, well, World Tour racing and just pro racing in general, even amateur racing, cyclists ride in a big bunch called a peloton, which means if one person falls off, pretty much everybody falls off. So it might not even be your fault, but you're still coming off with everyone else. Now, this woman got way too close to the crowds, knocked that first initial rider off, and then everybody came down with him. Is this the woman's fault? Yes, arguably it is. For me, I'm more so blaming the race organisers. When Mo Farah's running in the Olympics, you've not got someone there right in his face. When Adam Peaty is swimming in the pool, you've not got someone in the pool with him. So why, on the world tour level of cycling, do you have people so close to the road, and they're just normal civilians? They don't know what they can and can't do. They can't judge distances and speeds. So yes, it is on her, but at the same time, she doesn't have the knowledge to understand what she should and shouldn't be doing. So organisers have got to be far more careful with this stuff and lay the rules and the groundwork out much better. Why not just put barriers along the entire thing? Granted, it's a long way to do that, but these are the pinnacle top athletes. You've got to protect them at all costs, not let just a random woman get in the way and ruin the race and take everybody out with them. It just seems ridiculous. For me, this is probably one of the most random crashes I've ever seen. If you look, I'm going to slow it down in a second so you can actually see it in more detail. The rider there literally cuts across the entire road as a result of trying to manoeuvre past somebody who's fallen off, and cuts across the entire side of the cyclist coming across. Like, what the hell is going on there? And then he takes somebody else with him, and that was at a fast speed as well. And again, this here is just your sort of classic bike fall. Bit of a wet, slippy surface, slide off to the side. Everybody comes off unharmed pretty much in this sort of environment. You might get a bit of a broken collarbone, but 99% of the time, it's a bit of a road rash. You get back up, you carry on with your race, you're absolutely fine. And it's just sort of one of them things, isn't it?